Mr. Johnson was asking why even 100 in the context of those who were involved, or however many involved in recruiting a slate of candidates to run for Issue 5, was that open enough? Well, the fact is the real openness in the Issue 5 process is that which will unfold, which has been unfolding in the last couple of weeks and will unfold conclusively on November 3rd, because the voters will have the opportunity, number one, to elect who's going to be on the Charter Commission, and number two, in November 2010, and then over the next year, will have a chance to weigh in on how county government should be reshaped, and then in November 2010, a year away, they will have an opportunity. They, the electorate, the voters, the ultimate authorities and decision makers will have the opportunity to determine whether or not that charter meets the needs of Cuyahoga County moving forward. Nothing, in my estimation, could be more open than that.
Mayor Zanotti, a best practices example?
Oh, I have to, but you've got to let me go back to the other one real quickly. Openness is an idea brought to people, people putting it on the ballot, people having the opportunity to vote it. That's at the core of our government. That's the history, how things work. 81,000 residents said put it on the ballot. The openness is we'll see what the 1.3 registered voters decide on November 4th. That's openness, and I'm more than happy to hang my hat on that. As far as best practices, we've studied this for over 15 years now. There was an example of Seattle. You can talk about improvements that have been made in Summit County. You can certainly talk about the significant improvements that have been made in Allegheny County, the city of Pittsburgh, our arch rival, and how they've blossomed in the last 5 years. And at the core of what they believe has helped change them is the fact that they went from a commissioner form of government to a single executive county government.
Okay, it's now time for a final question. And
Where'd that time go?
I know. It goes quickly. It always does.
But I had so much more to say.
Well, here's an opportunity to say a little bit more. And I believe with this final question, Mayor Zanotti, you'll go first, followed by Commissioner Jones. And the question is really this. I think you both have admitted that politics and political processes are imperfect. And I'd like to know, what's the biggest failing of the proposal you're offering? And how will the processes that are built into that proposal overcome that failing? Mayor Zanotti, you have 3 minutes.
Boy, I really wish you'd have asked Commissioner Jones that question first, because I'd have had 3 minutes to think about a good answer.
The luck of the draw.
The failings. I think no process is perfect. I think the biggest disappointment that we've had is that a lot of the people that are sniping at us now about the process not being inclusive were either at the table and left or refused to come to the table. And now our opponents are hanging a significant part of their argument on the fact that it wasn't an inclusive process. I think when you create a government like we're proposing, it's a unique experience. None of us have ever done it. None of us have ever had the opportunity to vote on what you're going to vote on November 4th, creating a brand new form of government for a county. We recognize that nothing you can do will be perfect. No form of government is perfect. My history teacher would yell at me, but I can't remember the total number of amendments that we have to the federal Constitution, but it's well over 25. Nothing our forefathers did was perfect. So what we've identified is the foundation for a very strong, accountable government that will provide for a new future for Cuyahoga County. And so the failings will be improvements that can be made in the future. One of the failings is, quite frankly, that it's taken us so long to get here. Our county has needed this reform for years. We've spent way too much time talking about it, way too much time politicizing it, and not enough time listening to what the residents said, and is that we need a new future. And as a result of that, we're playing catch-up. Our county's fallen behind. It's fallen behind economically. It's fallen behind from a diversity standpoint. We're not providing equal opportunities for all, and we need to do a better job. And so what we're saying is, and I guess, Dan, this moves to my closing part, is the time for action is now. We don't need another study. I mean, all of the issues Commissioner Jones raises are valid from an Issue 5 standpoint, but there are also issues raised by the establishment that is concerned that this could change the dynamics of the power base in Cuyahoga County, and it could be a new day and a new government. And it's impossible for that to happen without people being concerned about it, I believe Commissioner Jones has all the right reasons for being here, and we just disagree with what's going on. But the reality is we need a new future for our county. The time for our future is now. We need to do a better job. We need to restructure our county government. We need to restructure it based on economic development and providing those critical human services that we need for our people. And we need to do it now. We've talked about it. We've studied it. We've studied it again. We've studied again. And this is the time for people to come together and vote yes on issue 6 and not to say, let's take our time and study some more. The time for action is now. And I thank you for listening to me today, and I appreciate all of you who will support issue 6 and your interest in making this a better future for all of us. Thank you.
Mayor Zanotti, thank you very much. Commissioner Jones, you have 3 minutes for your response. How does issue 5 fall short, and how will issues 5 process overcome those shortcomings?
Well, the only thing, and thank you, Dan, you've done a masterful job as the Master of Ceremonies and the moderator. The only thing that I wish issue 5 would allow us to do is to get the charter on the ballot in May as opposed to next November, because clearly there is a yearning for change. There is a yearning for restructuring county government. Unfortunately, the Constitution doesn't allow us to rush it to the ballot, and perhaps there's an advantage in that, and that advantage would be the fact that it gives more time to hear from stakeholders who have not been involved in any of the previous studies. The previous studies we've referred to have all been involved maybe 20, 30, 40, 50 people. The Abbott Commission was the best effort so far in that regard, and as I said, both Commissioner Hagan and I endorsed and supported the proposals that came out of the Abbott Commission. Unfortunately, the Ohio General Assembly didn't act. So there haven't been these kind of exhaustive studies that the issue 6 proponents would lead us to believe. And it's not just that we on issue 5 are concerned about the process that yielded issue 6. One of their own backers, the plain dealer, said the process wasn't pretty, wasn't public, only belatedly was the circle expanded to include minorities, labor, and all the key stakeholders in this region. Let me just say this in closing. If you believe in small d democratic processes, deliberative, then issue 5 is for you. If you are for regionalism, then I call upon you to reject dividing, balkanizing the county into 11 wards and districts where you have parochial and provincial thinking will prevail. If you want to believe in the best safeguards against corruption, because the only true safeguard against corruption, the only real prophylactic is electing honorable people. But certainly a system that would allow the county executive to unilaterally fire the only 2 people who might investigate him or her, the sheriff and the chief fiscal officer. And again, this is contrary to the Summit County proposal. You cannot embrace that proposal. You cannot embrace issue 6. And if you really want to streamline county government, then you don't go from 11 elected officials to 13, plus 7 appointees, higher paid than the elected positions that have been abolished, and to a law director as well. The issue 6 proponents have been asked time and time again, show us the savings. And each time they have failed abysmally. So I ask the voters to please vote yes on issue 5, and then vote for Mayor Bill Cervinik, Mark Davis, Harriet Applegate, Jasmine Torres Lugo, attorney, Anne-Marie Donegan, Sonny Nardi, State Representative Mike Foley, Attorney Stuart Garson, the Reverend Marvin McMickle, Betty Pinkney, attorney and PhD, Patrick Shepard, Representative Sandra Williams, attorney Ronald V. Johnson, and Dr. Gus Caius. Vote for those 14 and then vote. Your job's not done until you then vote no on issue 6. It's
Commissioner
a bad
Jones,
deal, poorly
time
conceived. Thank you.
Is up. Thank you so much. Impressive feat you managed to sneak in there at the end. Thanks very much to our audience, all of you, for your questions, and to our participants. I'm sure there's going to be many more conversations about this. Jim Foster.
Today at the City Club of Cleveland, we've been listening to a debate between Commissioner Peter Lawson Jones for issue 5 and Martin Zanotti for issue 6. Thank you, Dan Moulthrop. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. This program is now adjourned.